Hey everybody! Hi! Welcome! Let's see, let's get this all up and set. So how you doing? It's time for another live stream. We do these every Saturday. It's just a nice habit we have here at pluginguru.com. My name is John Limcool. I am your host for the next 90 minutes or so, and I own Plugin Guru, and I'm happy to show you all sorts of cool things. So this live stream, it's a kind of an interesting idea I have. I'm going to be showing you a library I'm working on. We're going to build some of it together. I'm going to show you some of the inside stuff on how this is done. Let's see if I go Plugin Guru. I also have, just so you know, I'll tell you right now, I'm showing you one of the libraries that has been born in the month of May. And if you go to the current deals and free stuff, you will see the 6 lessons. This is a video tutorial series that I created for everybody to learn more about the deeper inner workings and projects. And I kind of set up 6 different scenarios, and we dive into how to use Unify to solve these. And there's mountains and mountains and mountains of tips and tricks. It's crazy. It's over 50% off right now. If you scroll down here, I'm playing Orchestrator right now, which is a library from the Krumar Orchestrator that I sampled. So it has all of the really cool and I record it in a fun way where, if we get up here to the top, did I put it by core? How did I organize this? Here we go, core. So these are the different presets that I sampled. Here's the, like, some of these are the granular, oh, so these are the granular versions. Okay, here Krumar. I have to look at what I did in the past so I can figure it out. Like, here's this, let's go to the strings. So there's both the mono, like if I went and got my Orchestrator out of storage and plugged it in, this is what it sounds like. But there's also a stereo version. And I made that by recording twice and putting one on the left side, one on the right side. And because it's an analog living machine, hello everybody, welcome everybody, good to see you. Because it's analog, there's no phase if you sum it to mono. And I did that to all these different things, the cellos in stereo. It has a really good vibe to it. I can't remember the exact chords, but that's the piano that Radiohead used for that wonderful song from Kid A, was it? I think so. I made a whole bunch of other pads and using those sounds in different ways. Slow Car to China. All sorts of really cool pads and strings like crazy. It's a really fun library. I think I did these demos with MIDI files. I can't remember, but yeah. So you have a demo you can play at the end of the library. Anyway, all the libraries that were made in the month of May are listed and at more than 50% off. Also, let me see, I think I don't have it here. I should have expressions here. If you go to the homepage, we're in the final week of Tim Dale's new library. Expressions, which is available. I think I thought I clicked it, but I didn't click it. So go here, click it, and that will take you to Expressions. It's on its introductory price for 1 more week. This is a library that is really, really, really cool in that it's got all sorts of patches set up where there's controls for, it's Omnosphere 2 library, the controls for Aftertouch, and the mod wheel. So you can get all sorts of cool stuff happening. Let's see if I hit favorites. I've got some of my favorite patches here that have. So instead of using after switch on my keyboard, I can automate with this, which is pretty cool. Cool library by Tim Dale. It's in its final week at its introductory price. So make sure you take a look at that, but also make sure you go over to the current free deals just for this weekend. You only have 2 days that these libraries that are the May libraries are more than 50% off. And so check them out. Noisebox. I'm going to show you all 6 of them here in a minute, just to give you a run through of them. Let me see here. I want to have this on a tab so I can see the chat. Wow, what are you guys talking about here? Hello, hello, hello. Good to see everybody. I love all the greetings everybody does at the beginning. Anybody having problems with Unify and Logic 11.2? So we need to know specifics. If you can maybe email us at unifysupport@pluginguru.com. I have 11.2. I'm running 11.2 right now. I've been making patterns and all sorts of stuff with Unify. So if there's something that's not working for you, please let us know. Yeah, in fact, Taylor is on it. So, right. Yeah, that's a cool one. Northern Exposures, or Northern Rocky Mountain Sound. Our friend Jason Schopfer has a really cool bundle. Oh, cool. Oh, cool, Todd. That's awesome. Yeah, none so far. I mean, I was using it all day yesterday. In fact, I'm going to be showing you something inside of the Starfield library that I made. We need to load up some drum patterns. I have a drum kit from my piano, which is unique. You know, not everybody does that with their 6-foot-6 grand piano when they first get it delivered to their house, but that's how I roll. Let's see, photos. I was going to show you guys a few funny things. So last week, let's see here. Are these going to look right? Last week, I did a portrait session with my sister and her dogs. And so if you want to see some cute, silly dog photos, these are portraits I took, which is really fun. She has a Great Dane. It's over 200 pounds. It's a big dog, super big. And, you know, these 2 dogs, they would not pose for us, so it was tricky. And she also has chickens, so I took pictures of her chickens. My mom just had her 83rd birthday on Thursday. And so happy birthday to my mom. She's still rocking and doing all that kind of stuff. I was just thinking of something built in. Matthias, wait, we asked something I've been thinking about. Any plans, thoughts about implementing some kind of spectral sample editor? Oh, probably not in Unify. I don't think we're going in that direction. We have some fun things we're adding to Unify, but it's more about enhancing what you see on the screen. That type of user interface, that graphic type of stuff takes so much work to create, and they have the team that has made it and done really well. I will tell you, if a sample editor that I love that is free on the Mac, it's not on the PC, I don't believe, but it's called Ocean Audio. Here, let's see here. If I go to the libraries, I'll show you. So inside of Starfield, here, I'll just show you what it is there's a drum kit called the Star Piano Kit, which is I'm playing my piano as a drum. And then I made some cool Because it's Starfield, man. This is magical, ethereal, cool stuff. So I still have the sounds over here in wave file. So if I go samples, go over here to the folder, I bet you anything, because they always have an update. Ocean Audio is always updating this application, so it's going to say, hey, there's an update. Of course, new VSTs found. I don't want you to do that. New release available. I'm not going to load that right now, but if I was to go over here to, like, say, some of these cool hits, there's actually these really cool, like this. If I drag that in here, it can give me both the spectral and the waveform for the sample. So you can see it that way. My current favorite sample editor that I use on a daily basis to edit thousands of samples is this one called Twisted Wave. It's a license for $99 a month. $99 a year, a year. And I love how this works. I can like go like this to zoom in on the waveform. The tools I need are here. It has built-in Synaptics audio stuff. So I could take this, I could go to effects, and I could say change pitch and use the ZTX processing engine to change the format. And I could make the speed 60% and the pitch down 8 semitones, and it still sounds great because Synaptics has the best transposition software. Also, it has the ability to go over here to any of my VST. You probably can't see this on the screen, but I could go to Fab Filter. Where's Fab Filter? And I could say Pro Q3. I can load any plugin and apply VST or audio unit plugins, apply and close. So you can do all sorts of things to samples to clean them up. I also use RX11 is by far probably the most valuable RX11. I think they're up to RX12 now, right? This is by far the most flexible tool for sample editing. Let me find it. See if I have any of these samples that have. I think I cleaned up most of these. Like if I take a look at this inside of RX11, I can see the spectral. I can see where there might have been like a... Let me make sure you can hear this because this might not be routed to... see here. Oh, it is. Okay, I think, right? No, it's not. Okay, so we got to go loop back. Another piece of software you have to have if you're live streaming is this. This is, and I know there's an update of everything always has an update. It's crazy. But you can go here to the list and say iZotope RX11, and now it's added. So now you can hear this. Let me see if I can find a sample. In fact, let's do this. Let's go to the original folder because I'll show you something really cool with RX11. Let's see, go over here, here, because I back up everything in original form, of course, as I'm building things. So if I go here, Starfield, and we go to the piano drums, I want to go to the snares. Those were the ones that I think I was noisiest on. Yeah, so this one here, I think I have some where I moved. See these? They show up as little tiny blips. And you can zoom in with your zoom wheel and you can highlight like this. And they have lots of tools. There's one called Interpolate that you can use, and it will look at what's before it and what's after it and replace whatever there with this. So it's great for getting rid of noises and squeaks in a sampling session, because you can just go like this and it will perfectly smooth them out. It's only a limited size, but now when I play this, there's no more clicks, no more squeaks. So, you know, I'm sitting at a piano and I'm hitting it with sticks and mallets and stuff, and wood creaks and makes noises sometimes. My dog was snoring sometimes. So there's all these tools are so important for sound design. They do really cool things. Anyway, I made this kit. And I've made 30 drum patterns for it. And I haven't loaded them in yet. So we want to hear them? How about if we load them in and play them? So I'm going to go over here to... Oh, also, last week, you guys asked for Universal Audio PolyMax to be unified. I have finished unifying the library. So here is a link to the PolyMax Unified Library. I will point out a couple things, and we'll do the drums in a minute. I'm sorry, I like to jump around sometimes. But there's 224 patches. I don't know what the final count is. I found some patches that didn't fit into any categories that they had. Some patches are in multiple categories because their tagging system, they allow you to take a patch and say it's a pluck and it's a bass and a synth. And sometimes I would agree and I would put it into the category. Other times I wouldn't agree. The basses, if it had the ARP turned on, they got put down here into the BPM bass category, right? BPM effects, and we could go Unify layer just to show how fun this is to like. You know, you can add all these things. So you can add them. There's also all the leads. Sometimes they're leads. You can play chords, which is a big no-no. Well, we break that rule sometimes. Try not to, but you know, the pads. This again is a free plugin for those of you that don't know and don't have this. You should get this Universal Audio PolyMax. You have to get it from Universal Audio. You can't get this from Plug-in Boutique or other places, or else it's be like $25, I think is where it's at. It's a $200 retail, $199 synth. Here is the link for this in case you want to check this out. It's a really good synthesizer. It has, I just closed my chat for you guys. Hold on. YouTube, get back to the chat. What are you guys talking about? I don't want to miss anything. It's free until I believe the end of June. So you can get that. We've unified all the patches now. Right? There's an init patch, which is the first patch in synth. I added an extra space so it shows up at the top. And just be aware when you first call this guy up. Let me resize this a little bit because I made it big when I was doing the patches. Virtual studio technology. Oh, cool. Bowbox. Thank you. Yeah. Tim appreciates that. Thank you. It's a good library. It's Tim's first library for Unify. And it's a good one. There's some really good stuff. I'll show you guys those at the end. We'll do that towards the end of the live stream for those of you that. But remember when you call us up, even their init patch, they have this voice panning button. And it's at 1, which means it's panning randomly, which drives some people crazy. So you want to click this 2 times to get to 0. And now it's just a nice synth. Turn up the stereo chorus, turn it on. But if you do use the random panning, It just makes it wider. They have two settings. One is like kind of wide and two is like really wide. You can do unison. Let's see, how do we do unison? You have to go mono. You can bring this up. And remember, even if something is set to unison and it's mono, it doesn't have to be mono and unify. So let's set this patch up. I want to play chords with this. So all you have to do, like 4 steps. You go over to the plus layer button, to MIDI effects, and you say Polybox, let's say 8 layers. So we're going to be 8 voice polyphonic. You go to the Unify layer and you set it to listen to Polybox instead of just the raw MIDI in. You go to the all and change it to MIDI channel 1 because we're going to be doing this where each note you play, Polybox takes each note and advances it to the next MIDI channel. And then all you have to do is go to this little bullet over here and say, give me 7. That, with the one that's there, will equal 8, which is why we chose Polybox 8 layers. If I chose Polybox 4 layers, then you'd use dupe 3 times, because that would then give you 4. And if you set it to 16, you could say dupe 15, and that would give you 16 layers total. In fact, let's do this. Let's say dupe 15, so it's going to make 15 copies of this. We can open Polybox, and here where it says 8, let's change it to 16 voices. So I now have made this mono unison PolyMax patch into a 16 voice polyphonic. And maybe I want to play a filter cutoff, which is right here. And as you can see, it's currently set to only the number 1 layer. Well, it just so happens because I set these up for you guys for every one of these patches. If you go to the little bullet and you say duplicate links to all layers, every one of these layers where it sees the same as layer 1 as the plugin, and it sees that it's assigned to a parameter here, it will automatically propagate all plus 16 layers for every one of these. So now I can edit this 16 layer patch, and it's changing all 16 layers. And check this out. It's using separate threads on my computer. So you would think if you had 16 layers of the same plugin playing maximum unison on that, your computer would be freaking out. But because of how Unify works, it's got no problem. It's separate threads going to separate cores of your computer, so it's spreading the love. And I also, on page 2, I set up from okay and sustain. So you can turn anything you want into more polyphony. In fact, check this out. There was a pad, let me see, I made a bonus of it, synth strings. So if we go here to pad, synth strings. This is 8 voice polyphonic with long release on the envelopes. It's cutting off notes. So I made a bonus patch because I love my customers so much. You guys are all so cool. Right here is 64 voice synth strings where it's 8 layers of that patch. It won't run out of notes of polyphony now because it's 64 voices of polyphony. And I didn't do the trick I just showed you. If you want to use these macro controls, they're still only set. I should have done this to the, but I didn't. If you want to use this, all you have to do is go to the bullet and say duplicate links to all layers, and that links them all up. So now I'm playing, see, I'm playing actually 4 different layers, right? And what's really fun with this, if you start really getting into spending hours messing around, you can get to where you start playing with pan position of everything so that it's different. You could go over to the actual synths themselves, and each one you'd open up and maybe give a little bit different envelope and filter settings. Maybe some could even have a little bit of FM added to it to give it a little bit extra sauce. So each layer could be different. So you could truly get, and if you want to make it even more random, there's a random button you can click inside a Polybox. So now it randomly spits out between 1 and whatever your MIDI channel pool size is. This is the MIDI channels 1 through 8. So now it's going to randomize 1 through 8. So then, so you can get into all sorts of cool stuff like that. Hello, Origin Unknown. I haven't seen your name before. Welcome, my friend. Nice to see you. Yeah, no, Polybox is just, it does a really cool thing. Each note that comes in gets sent to the next MIDI channel, and we set up some really cool modes. If you go to the standard library and type WS, there's all these wave sequencing things that are using Polybox and MIDI box together to that cool? So there's some tricks happening to make this sound the way it sounds. So let's turn off the Polybox. That makes that not have, see how Polybox tricks you with layer 2 because it makes it have multiple attacks. It goes bop up. Here's without it. So I just made a MIDI file going bum bum ba-dum ba-da-dum ba-bum ba-da bum bum ba-dum with 1 note. So then that was my MIDI file. In fact, here, let's have fun. Because this is, I don't have a big agenda for this live stream. I'm just gonna have fun and show you guys tricks and stuff. So check this out. Let's go over here and turn on Unify inside of Logic really quick. And I'm gonna make a new MIDI file pattern and show you how fun it is to change it up. So let's go over here and turn on Unify here. And I'm just gonna be a sine wave. And I'm gonna go. That's all I need. That's my pattern that I want it to do and cycle between everything, right? So we can go over here, we can say, give me the chance to name this and call this MIDI Gunner, okay? And we're gonna export this. Oh wait, I need to quantize it really quick. So let's go over here and quantize. And this first one, let's make sure that we quantize it to 100%. Because it shouldn't be off timing. This should be just fine, right? Export. Oh, maybe there's some other events that were recorded. So let's go Command 7, which is a step sequencer. Yeah, it's got some after. I usually turn off notes and delete aftertouch because we don't listen to aftertouch. There. Now I should be able to export this and say this is, let's just call it Gunner and put it to the desktop. And so I can now turn off this Unify and let's get this away. So I'm done with my sequencing for the moment, right? And we go over here to MIDI box and we open this up. And all I have to do is click the little bulb light, go to the desktop, go to dates added and Gunner. Add. Uh-oh. Oh, you know what? I turned down the volume, didn't I? So that's why we don't hear it. it's doing that pattern. So any pattern that you make as a MIDI file, you can use as the powered control of wave sequencing where it changes layers. And then you can go into this, and every one of these things that say Guru Sampler could be any plugin and any patch you own. So the power is just crazy with what Polybox and MIDIbox together give you, because Polybox does the channel splitting, so each note goes to a new MIDI channel. MIDIbox is taking that single note, and if I want, let's see, move this up so you can see the keys. I can play chords. And it does it. So it's really, really fun. It's that kind of power and stuff. So that's some of the fun stuff you can do. Now let's go back. So I think we've covered, so you know about the library. The link is there for PolyMax. Oh, I was going to show you a couple other things really quickly. I made a couple bonus patches in the library. Let's see, this is PolyMax. One of their patches was close, but not quite for doing the. If you're familiar with Tool, they love to make all sorts of cool sounds like these. Right? There's a bass up here called October 31st, which is a reference to but it doesn't sound like the record. And so I made Thriller, which is just like the record. And you can open this up and play with it. There's a few parameters that are really nice. The envelope, to get a little bit more whip out of it. Resonance you can bring down if you want it to be more. I put a little FM on it. So depending on what tone you want, just a really, really great generic starting anywhere for that kind of bass vibe. There's a really cool pad called Etheralus, T-H-E-R, that they made. Really cool. I played with it because I like to make patches, and I made a BPM. So there's a handful of bonus patches from yours truly at the end of the list. The strings, and then I made an organ dance because they had this drawbar too. Can't really use that in house. This you can. So I wanted to get a little bit more closer to what it should be. So there's 224 patches in this unified library for PolyMax, which is free. So get that. It's really cool. Cool library, right? Is there settings for the lights to be off on the ADSR? I don't recall seeing much of a settings area over here. Import presets, submit feedback. You could submit feedback. Help and video. There's a quick tip video and stuff like that. But if you click on these, there's no. I know it's kind of weird to have like lights popping out at you. But hey, it's free. So what can you can't complain too much when it sounds that good and it's free, right? All right. So anyway, in Starfield, like I told you, I have a drum kit. I use brushes, I use blast sticks, I use and I made a whole bunch of really cool drum grooves. So if we go over here, we need to say, give me a MIDI box. And let's go over here to Starfield and add the groove. And there is a stack, which by default has blank for the first one. And then let's see, this is 74 beats per minute. Now for these to work, I need to set this to play. Because I don't want it to be transposing up and down the keyboard. Otherwise it shifts the notes. Which can be cool if you want to just like play and find random accidents. But to play what I designed, you have to set it to play. And then we're going to go over here to the macro knobs. And for this, let's see. So I need to have a pattern. So say pattern number, because this is kind of, knob 8 is by default what I use to set up the patterns. So turn this off. I need to go plus, and I want this to be 100%. And I want to go over here to the instrument, to the MIDI effect, to MIDI box, to track number. So now I can cycle through all the patterns that I've made. And they're made to be at different tempos, of course, because some of these were slower, some of these were faster. So if I go like, let's see, let's go to, let's go to 130. So they're really, really cool grooves. I'm into new sounds. The way to beat AI is to not try to make the sounds that everybody else has heard. Make new sounds. And so that's where I live. As you know, with all the libraries that I've released, I'm not necessarily into making, here's your serum leads that you've heard in the last 20. We do that sometimes, radio ready for Omnosphere and so forth like that. But these are all new. So let's go over here and we'll say BPM. Oh, wait. Kit. BPM. Now there's more work to do to this because I want it to pop up. Go save as, save. I want it to pop up the name of the pattern here, right? To do that is a bit of a step. I'm not going to do that in the live stream because it's using a text editor file and copying over the pattern names and then choosing the names and so forth. Maybe I'll do it really sloppy so you see how you do it. So if I go text edit and we say new document, and let's see, let's go over here. I need to say reveal in the Finder and go up to here to MIDI files, to the grooves, and I've got them numbered like this. So I can go like this and copy, and these names are way too long, right? So the names are going to show up really long. Paste, and the very first one is blank. So I need to go up here and say blank, and then go save as. Into here, to libraries, into Starfield, media, Star Piano, grooves, 31. It's like 31 flavors, and I'll save that there. So inside of here, if I go over here to the variations and click here, that now shows up as an option because I added it. So I'm going to update this. It says blank, and now I need to go over here to pattern, and there's one more knob you can assign. Set this to full range, and right here, this variation now allows it so that as I move this, it lets me cycle through all the patterns, right? So I can do this and see the names of the patterns, and then these names that I want, those are found if I go up to right here. Oh wait, I need to go into the libraries to Starfield. I was just there. Of course, I'm always closing Windows once I'm done doing something, and then I need to open it again. But if I go to this text file, and instead of being these long names with blank and all this kind of stuff, I can say, let's say steady. Oh wait, I'm erasing way too much. Steady, and I'll use, let's do this. Let's select all these and use the find, replace, edit, find, and replace, and find dot MID and erase it for all. Boom, that's done. So we use that to get rid of that. And then I could say take BPM space and get rid of that. BPM space, get rid of that. So now it looks a lot better. If I save this text document, and I recall this patch, the names are now renamed. Uh-oh. What did I do? Let's see here. Save. Update. Why isn't this working? I broke something. Oh, the variation got lost. I didn't have variation when I saved it. So save that. Now, see, the names are different. They're far shorter. They're just by numbers and the names. There's actually another contemplate. Isn't that cool? It's just such a cool vibe. So one part of the Starfield library with this new drum kit with all these patterns. And let's load in. I made a really cool, let's say nothing but stars. Let's load this into a new Unify layer. Look at this. This is using basses and all sorts of stuff. I think I need a dance pattern, so let's go over here. There we go. Is there? Yeah. So just as an example of how it's going to turn out. So the cool things in this library that make it really unique. For one thing, there's these really cool cinematic basses. There's also a domination. This piano striker. This is made for my grand piano. Just for bass. I actually have another variation. This is a tease. Right now, I'm warning you, this is a tease. This is not in the library. I'm going to make another library with these. This is the full keyboard sampled with that cool vibe. Isn't that cool? So later this year, this will come out with some more pianos. I have more samples I'm adding to the top range. I've got a lot more like note-off samples and stuff, but I can't even tell you the technique how I did that. But That's the 6'6" grand piano recorded in a very cool way. It's funny. I get this for the guys that don't know. Like less than a month ago, I took delivery of a 6'6" Yamaha C5 grand piano that a woman that my mom knows in a little town. She had a double wide mobile home overlooking the river, and long story short, she has to move out of the place. She's going to a small bedroom place. She's held onto this grand piano for her granddaughter who doesn't have room for it. Well, by luck of fate and everything, it turned out where I can be the owner of this piano. So this is in my house. This grand piano is incredible. The first things I record with it are drums where I'm hitting it, and then other sounds that are not your typical piano sound. Isn't that so cool? I'm just... So, AI that, baby. So that will be in a separate library. I'm going to do similar techniques to this with the CP70 you see behind me. I have other pianos I'm going to sample. So, but the bass version of that, which is just the bass notes, different samples, by the way. And if you want to hear this in a really cool patch, I made the Monster Omega, which is... cool. So other things that are cool with this library is these chords. I'm recording these really cool. There's major chords, there's minor chords. And you see these all say 2. There's actually 3 variations I'm making for each one. There's really slow for really chill ambient vibes. 2 is the original with a sub bass added. Actually, in 1 you can turn on a bass on the layer, it's just muted. So if you want that slow vibe, then the normal vibe, longer release, and then 3 is really short. So you have 3 variations to all these different hits. So those are cool. Right? Really, really fun. The other thing that is unique to this library are these guys. These are Koshi chimes. There's 4 different chimes that are different chords. They have these little tiny, you can't see in here, but they have these little tiny, little just stick spires that this glass little disc is suspended and hitting. And I've sampled them once. I'm actually resampling them again tonight because these are really hard to record. But they're a little harsh. We're re-recording it with a ribbon microphone tonight. But if you take this one's minor. So if I go over here and I say minor 7th and I add this, and then I have it slowly fade in. I think I did some of these already in the bonus. like this. So I want this really cool chimey, magical stuff vibe, right? And so we're gonna re-record them. I want them to be smoother and warmer, but they're slow and fast phrases. And I have made myself a drumstick to try to actually play, and once I'm done sampling these, I'm gonna pull, there's a way I figured out to get this string and the glass thing out so I can use this to strike inside, to try to sample it as an instrument of these chimes. So hopefully there will be a play. It doesn't exist yet, but I want that chime by itself, and it's really hard to get, but we're gonna see if we can do it. Right? It's really cool. If you notice, I've been practicing my, not to buy anything else, but the sounds are so great every time. Oh, Rob, that's cool. I think you mean you're not going to buy anything else but what we do. I can't tell. Or you're just going on a strike and not buying anything. But check this out. So there's this long string attached to a little wood thing. And if you get this with your wrist motion just right, it will go around and play all of them. Isn't that cool? So I've got more work to do on the Koshi chimes to get them not quite so spiky. We did some tests, and this one here came out, is it Aquafast? I think this is the one that we worked on. I'm working with my neighbor. I have a neighbor that's a sound engineer guru that has some really cool techniques that we're using to get, I want these to be full, but not slapping you in the head, so you can layer them fairly loudly with basses and stuff like that, right? Because I want to be able to go like, maybe add this and see how that's spiky? And then the last thing, well, there's even more to it, but I have a whole bunch of synth sounds that I made in Novum and sampled. To keep the spacey, chill vibes going. These have all been looped. Thank you, Taylor, for your help with some of these. So this will be out before my birthday, which is June 16th. So probably in 2 weeks. So I have 2 weeks to take these and make a whole bunch of really cool bonus patches. So there's all sorts of fun stuff here. Here's one of the layers with a strike piano. Like a distant ice cream van. Yeah, well, I'm making sure it doesn't just do that. It's these Koshi chimes are used in meditative healing sessions with people. You do this as you move around their body and put it by their heads and so forth. So I want to have a really pure vibe to it, kind of like purity. So we're working on getting a little bit more maybe more sparse versions too, so that it doesn't. I did another library called Mega Magic Motion. I don't think I have it here, but that was one where it was a lot of even more sparse chimes and so forth that worked really well. So I think I have to, still working on the Koshi chimes. These are one session, but I'm going to do more. Right, Eventide has a cool too. Maybe an ice cream van hoping from planet to planet. Yeah, have this with a So anyway, there's more stuff work to do, but it's starting to take shape for the library. Very happy with a lot of these sounds are really, really unique. The artwork for the library is coming out really cool. There's different artwork that will be put into the library and stuff, but I think here is my current. In fact, I was going to ask you guys, what do you think? Let's do this. Let's load this in Photoshop. Because I'm curious. I have 3 versions of the artwork. I'm curious which ones you guys like. Hey, Tim. Good to see you. So I have a question. Do we like the girl, nothing, or let's see, a guy, or nothing? I'm just curious. Which one looks the most like appealing? Let's see. Where did let's see if I go like. I like all 3. Nothing, gender neutral. It reminds me of the movie Lonely Bones. Nothing. Nothing. And then you guys get to imagine what it is. But I mean, what's crazy, are you guys familiar with Photoshop? What they are doing now, they have this really cool AI thing for making things inside of here. So like this Starfield, this right here, AI made that. And if I wanted to, I could like take that out, go to here. If I was to like say this much of it and say, instead of that, I want to have like meteors falling from the sky. Meteors on fire falling from the sky. And let's say I want to like add with this tool here. So I like make it so it goes up and down, and maybe it goes, give it some really crazy shape to work with, and then say generate. It very quickly will make 3 variations to choose from of what you ask it to create. So I use this. You can clean up photos so easily. There you go. So, and if that's not right, you can hit generate again, and it will recreate another 3 passes. A guy and a girl. Interesting. I'd go for the girl. Oh, wait. I'd go for the girl. But look at this. I mean, you can tell it all sorts of things, and, you know. Okay, so how about this? Let's say, no, let's not do that. But let's say we have, right here, let's say guy and girl holding hands. Guy and girl. Let me fix my spelling. I am not a good speller. Generate. And so it will generate a guy and girl silhouette holding hands. Let's see what it does. So we can do, you know. Oh, no. That's not bad. And then I maybe like bring down the opacity of that a little bit so that it's like they're in a dream. So again, I'll save it with that, because that's I mean, the things we can do now are just crazy. I could say plastic spaceship. Generate. Should we see something? Yeah, well, it made this the girl and guy silhouette. Oh, can't see what you're making. Oh, really? Well, let's see. Go to OBS. Well, maybe I need to make this shrink down just a little bit in size. Sorry, like this. Get this to fit into the screen a little better. Come on, Photoshop. And there, like that, and 0. There's my plastic spaceship. Can you see that? Oh, it's not showing. Oh, you know what? That's weird. The desktop is not updating. How funny. The desktop hasn't updated the, oh, if I hit share. No, I don't know. For some reason, I see what you mean. It's not showing what I'm seeing in Photoshop inside of OBS. It's not updating the desktop. How funny. Let's see, Mac OS, display capture. Huh. There. Now it updated to show you what I see. And now it's moving, okay? So here's my plastic spaceship and the new silhouette that I did. So you can see these. Sorry. That's really weird. OBS froze on me like that, but we fixed it. So yeah, so we can have the girl. We could have the girl and the rainbows. We don't need this plastic spaceship, but we could. Anyway, I'll play with it some more. But I just wanted to show you how cool it is. Some of the stuff that's happening here. And the irony that, we're like, oh, and AI music and sound, we live in crazy times. There's no doubt about it. AI is coming for all of our jobs, they say, right? So anyway, that's been kind of fun to play with. Let's see. What else do we want to show you? Are there any questions? Oh, I was going to show you the libraries. We'll do that really quick. We've got 20 minutes to show. If you have any questions, pop them up in our chat. This is a weekly support for Unify Stream. The whole reason I'm here is to help you guys get everything you can, every drop of creative fun out of Unify. I wish I could show you what we're doing in Unify 2. That will be coming out later this year, but it is getting really, really nice. Getting closer. Step by step, getting closer. But I can't show you anything right now. Just tease you by telling you about it, which I hate doing. Sorry. Anyway, so for the libraries that are on sale, I mentioned at the beginning, if you go to the pluginguru.com website, it's only for 2 days. It's only for today and Sunday. So if you see this on Monday, you're out of luck. This is a very short thing. But on the current deals and free stuff, the libraries that are created in May are here and available for you to pick them up at more than 50% off, as well as our free libraries, Guru Collective Volume 1, the 808 Recycle Lite. These are all Uniscream. These are all free libraries for Unify you can add that give you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of patches and samples and all sorts of stuff. 6 lessons for Unify. I don't have anything to show you inside of Unify. It's 6 video tutorials that I created, but you can check that out. Will you add Duduk to Unify in the future? I don't think I will, Ivar. I don't play Duduk. Nobody's requested it. There's other plugins that you can get Duduk from that are really good. I'd recommend, is it Hierarchies Solo? From Taps Solo by Tags IM is really, really great for, oh, I need to reactivate this, but this has really cool Duduks and all sorts of stuff in it. If you need those ethnic instruments, go there, okay? Anyway, so the first library I'll show you from the May libraries is FM8. This is a oldie but a goodie. This library was made, let's see, it's 2025. This library was made 14 years ago. Uh-oh, what did I do? Uh-oh, I think I did something that killed Unify. Unify. That was fun. And let's see, Logic, get back up here. So if we go to FM8, this is a rather interesting library. This is in 2011. Skrillex had Sprites and Monsters, I believe was the name of the album, and some other workout. Everybody was paying attention because it was really cool what he was doing. It was a very different sound for the... And so I took it upon myself for my second this is the third. Was this the second or the third? It's second library for FM8 to go into trying to make these types of sounds. And the concept was, if you go to, is it the mod page, you could have the mod wheel control 1 changing all sorts of levels inside of the algorithm that you set up here. So I have all sorts of patches where it's and they're really cool for really cool funky things too. I've done some funk work with these that are really fun. Chainsaw. So I was trying to like recreate kind of what Skrillex was doing and put it into a digestible form. So that's where this library came from. Flybys. I hear this in so many songs. It's so funny. So some really cool effects, really cool keys. Really, really cool, unique FM. If you layer this with the piano, the intimate piano, go over here. Oh wait, standard library. Go to key. This is really nice. If we go over here, key. Here it is, acoustic intimate. Add that. So that kind of vibe you can get into. Really fun library. So fire breathing. I made a few bonus patches. This library does come with this unified library for it. I believe this is using the VST2. If we go FM8, FM8. I have both the VST3 and the VST2 being known. I'm pretty sure it's the VST2. So that's one library that is on the May specials for a couple days. Noisebox is a library I made in 2001. So this is even older. This is 24 years old. Holy cow. Does that dates me, doesn't it? Wow. Okay. This has a drum grooves. You got to realize when this came out, there was an audio CD version in 2001 that was $99. The Roland CD-ROM or the Akai CD-ROM, which we sold a lot of copies of, were $200 each. And now I think I have it on sale this weekend for $25. So it's a really cool chance to get a crazy library. There's sounds in this library that are at the beginning of Lady Gaga tracks and Peter Gabriel tracks. This is a 4-measure pattern. Fill here. And it's elements. So you can real tambourine. You can pan these around in the stereo field if you want, make it a little bit more interesting. This is a friend of mine, Phil Block, playing drums. And so each one of these, there's, I think, 32 different. All the elements are here. There's mixes. Just slamming. And if you go over here and you say Unify Layer, like all of our other libraries, you can just click, click, click through the library. And come up with your own insanity. I love Lost Satellite. This was one of the first. This was Absinthe. It took so long to unify this or recycle this because the whole thing, it's recycle files, which means I can slow it down. Can speed it up. Is it Big Brother? I love this one. Astro Boy, Metropolis. Now, Big Boy. Hear that kick? If you play the beginning of Fame by Lady Gaga, it starts with this sample. It's pretty funny. So there's all this stuff. First, you see it's all 8 group elements. Then there's the ABC mixes. And then the elements. For all these grooves. So there's 495 grooves in this library. It's nuts. All the way up to I think 145 or 140 for test drive. But the loops are so fun. Oh, Tom Clancy's, I can't remember, the very first game, the whole soundtrack for the video game is Noisebox. That's almost all they used. This sample was used throughout all of the spy missions. It's just so much. Splinter Cell. The very first Splinter Cell for Xbox and PlayStation was almost all these samples, these drum loops. So it's had a lot of history. It's been used in a lot of cool places and stuff like that. But like the tambourine. If you go here to Unify Layer and add the talking drum. And what's fun, here, let's do this. Hold down Control and Option and pull this up just to the layer. You can go to the chorus tuning. Make sure you go over to MIDI box and turn off note to chorus so it doesn't change. Let's say I want the tambourine to stay right there. And let's turn on Pump House. Just to the tambourine. Let's go over here to Raptor. Oh, Pulsatilla. Let's load up this loop. This is really fun. Let's add Hulk, layer 2. And let's go to like Astro, that has or VRAM has a really cool kick. Let's get the second kick in there. Get 2. Now, in something like this, because I want the kick to take more prominence, I'm going to turn everybody down like maybe 8 or 9 dB and then pop the kicks back up louder. So you get the idea. So this is a library, super fun, so many loops and grooves to play with. I mean, this is. And you can call these up and then play them across the keyboard. In fact, I think I have the knot controls here for decay. So you can do all sorts of tunings and stuff. Turn up the Pump House on everybody. So you can use it for all sorts of places where you want rhythmic variety. The mod wheel brings up reverb. So, fun library, came out really cool. Noise box. Now, Percussa. Oh my gosh, this is another insane library. This is a library made exclusively for Omnosphere 2. I have not attempted to make this for Unify yet. I don't think I will. Because it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. You see all of these elements and high, low, and mid frequency energy. And then that's in just the drums. Here's the multis, which are using all of those elements. There's 3 different libraries inside of here. So if you go to like Brussels Subway, the Groove, this will load up 6 Omnosphere patches. Mod wheel. Go Blame Yourself. So the grooves and then the kit allows you to play the sounds. It's one of the most complicated libraries ever made for Omnosphere, in my respects, because we put in over 400 percussion, synthetic, cinematic samples, and then use programming in Omnosphere and separate arpeggiators on every layer to make custom grooves that do. Shadow of Death is super cool. The mod wheel brings up a tom fill. it's cinematic, but you could use these for all sorts of genres and stuff. It's not all just. Imagine Believer, I did a. You know, that kind of thing, cinematic transfer. Airwave worked on some of these. A gentleman from Florida named Casey Baldwin made some of these as well. I got a handful of people to make patches with me. So there's some really, really cool vibes. Off to War. Bring up the mod wheel. Totally transforms. You know, so all sorts of fun stuff. So there's 3 different libraries because you have the hits, all these cool things we made as hits, or if you go to the BPM drums, this is just drums at high. And if you go to Unify Layer, let's add a low. And that's kind of a warm tom. And let's add some mid, which is like your mid drums. Jungle bongos. Oh, they're swinging. Well, again, it's Omnosphere, so you could open this up, go to the arpeggiator, and go here to where it swings. Bring it down to 0. So if you need something a little outside of the normal, this is definitely an outside of the box library for Omnosphere 2. You have to own Omnosphere 2. But it's available in a unified format with 3 different libraries for it, so it's crazy. It's very, very fun. But here's the painful wait. So there's a lot going on. Each one of these patches you know, so you don't have to have everything. It's layered elements, so you can do really fun stuff. You know, it's just these 3 elements if you want. Guardians of the Mini Market. The lab is exploding. Get out of here, man! That bomb's gonna go off any second! You know, stuff like that. Oh yeah, Taylor worked on this too, that's right. And Shane's here, hey! The 6 lessons for Unify, I'll probably have to do a revised for Unify 2 because its layout is different. But a lot of the concepts are the same, and the plugins will still be there and so forth. But yeah. Everybody shout out to Shane. Shane is our software godfather. He did the software code for everything we have in Unify to this point. You will see some additional stuff in Unify 2 from a new person, Paul Carter. I think he's in the group. I'm not sure if he's here or not, but good to see you, Shane. And disregard that question about the Polybox or PolyMax. I unified all the patches already, so we don't have to do that. But shout out to Shane. All right. Then I showed you Sabrify. I mentioned that this is this really cool library Tim Dale did long time ago. It was his first library for Unify. All sorts of fun ideas, BPM guitars. $250 patches. A lot of playable, usable, cool stuff. So if you need more patches, right? Staccato Strat. So all sorts of stuff. It goes all sorts of places. Tons of BPM stuff. Make sure you read the comments to play it better than I'm playing some of these patches right now, you know? And then let's see, we had String Theory was the 6th one in the library. And I showed this at the beginning a little bit. This has a Crewmar orchestrator that I sampled. So you have and you also have not only mono, but also stereo. And the, you know, the thing that you come to for the orchestrator is for the strings. And I figured out a really cool thing because it rings out these sounds don't play until it gets notes off. So I'm using trigger box to trigger samples on layers as note offs. And then you have a separate volume control for these guys and how long they ring out, because the original orchestrator, I mean, it literally rings out forever. So you have a control here for controlling how long it rings out. Which is really fun. And again, there's all these really cool right? There's pads. With cool techniques and all sorts of nice programming and fun stuff. Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver. I need a bass. Like if we went over here to PolyMax, there's some basses that are really, really good. The 80s bass. Let's do this. Let's, if you load something as Unify layer, you can use Control and Option and click to turn it into just an instrument layer. So I can quickly. And let's see, we would want to do this. We'd want to go like, limit the low notes for the strings. So we'll go to all these guys and say, stop at C, and then have the bass. So we could go. But PolyMax can't quite sound like the Mini Moog. The filter kind of pinches. I will tell you this though, check this out. Instead of PolyMax, if you use Mini Moog from Universal Audio, their Mini Moog is scary. It's so good. Let's go over here and say bass. Oh, wait, see, call it back up. Take it up an octave. And then you turn third oscillator on. Pretty close. You know, so I can't remember the chords exactly, but you get the idea. You get pretty close. Their Mini Moog it's probably I tell you, Universal Audio's instrument plugins are really, really good. This is maybe my favorite of all the Moog plugins that people have made. It's just, and you can turn on the overdrive. Let's see, overdrive is on. Why is it not registering? Feedback. There we go. You can have the input be external or feedback. So it will give you the effect. Without it. With it. So it makes a difference. They really modeled it really nicely for the overdrive to work and stuff like that. Yeah. All right. I think we're probably at the end of our live stream. Thank you to all you guys that are still hanging. There's 80 of you guys hanging out. It's crazy. I hope you've enjoyed hanging out with us. Like, it's almost too big now. Hear how that changes so much, the low end? It's just crazy. Yeah. Yeah, the bass. It's very nice. They're never a disappointment, and always. Oh, thank you, Lab. Good to see you, Big E. Greets from Northeast. Yeah, do our shout outs. Where are you guys at in the world? I want to know where everybody's at. Shout out from. I have a little thank you, good news. This, like I mentioned last week, I'm in the process, and I sign on Thursday to own this house. So thank you to all of you that have helped make it possible that I could even think of doing such a thing as owning this house instead of renting it. I rented it for a year. I reached out and said, would you be interested in selling it to me so that I have a little bit better investment? I would like to, it's a nice house. It's in a cool location, and it's going to work out. And so thank you to all of you that are supporters of us, that bring in the money. We very much appreciate it. So grateful. Grateful to all you guys. Look at everybody. All right. Helsinki, Finland, Illinois, San Francisco. Hey, Keith. Good to see you, man. Good. Awesome. Virginia, Minneapolis to see Greg. Hi, Greg. Good to see you. Chattanooga, Tennessee for my brother Todd. Scotland for David. Awesome. Ontario, Canada. Big E. Love the clarity and the size and situation where, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Big E. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to be in Portland in July. For those of you on the West Coast, I'll give you a tip for you guys that like photography. There is one day a year where there is a full moon setting at sunrise, and it's really special to get out and see it. That day this year is July 11th. So I'm going to be camping in the Olympic National Park on a beach on July 10th so that I can get up at 5 in the morning or 4:30 in the morning, step out of my tent, and I'll see a full moon setting in front of me over the ocean. And it's an event I've done 2 times in my life, and I want to do it again. So 7/11 is your birthday, Taylor. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, this year, that's the day of this really cool event. Here, in fact, check this out. If I go Flickr is where I have my channel. If I go over here, as I go to my photo stream, these are my photos on Flickr. If you want to see things I've seen, places I've gone with my camera, there's all sorts of photos from Athena when she was a puppy. Sadly, we lost our lovely kitty cat. But here's one of the photos from one of the mornings of the full moon setting at sunrise on the Washington coast. Here's some other ones. I went out to the Cannon Beach area once for one of those times. But let's see if I go down the list. Where is some of these places like this? This does not look like this anymore. You can't even hike into this place because of the fires that happened some years ago. It's sad, but I was there to see it before it all changed. Let's see, where's it at? I have like 500 photos here. So this is one of those. This is Shy Shy, which is a really cool northern. It's more northern, but this photo was used in a couple magazines at one point. I got licensed, but that's the full moon setting on the coast at Shy Shy, which is a really cool beach. Here's another one where the full moon setting at sunrise, and I was able to go to, that's in Otter Rocks, I believe. Isn't that cool? I mean, so it's a cool event, and it only happens once a year. So I try to get out and be somewhere on that day when it happens to see it. This is another but there's somewhere I have an actual photo. Let's see, here it is. That's the full moon setting at Second Beach, right out from my tent. And let's see here. Yeah, this is my tent on Second Beach, just camping out there, waiting for the sunrise, you know. This is another photo that came out from that morning. It was beautiful, called Second Beach Symphony, that I created. There's starfish and all this kind of stuff, really cool stuff. So if you're able to get out, oh, I didn't want to do that, so delete that. If you can get out on July 11th, early, you got to be up early to see the sun rise, and then look in the other direction, you'll see a full moon setting. It's very, very cool. Thank you. Yeah, it's my other passion is photography. I spend so much time sitting here making sounds and looking at computers. I like to get out, see the world, take pictures of it when I can, stuff like that. Lahaina Noon. Yeah, that'd be really cool too. Yeah. So, well, hey, thank you all for joining and get after together. I'm here. Okay. Let's do, okay. Cool. We'll be talking. All right. Well, have a great creative week. Hopefully I have improved Koshi chimes to show you by next Saturday when we do this all over again. These Koshis, they're too plunky. So I'm working on getting them to be less plunky, but yet more hi-fi. So we'll see how these up and coming sessions go. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff if you want to keep following what we do here. And thank you as always. I appreciate all of you, and we'll see you next week when we get together and do it all again, all right? Cheers.